What's up, everybody? It's DarknDorky here from Games in Real Life, coming at you with another neat trick to help up your ttrpg game. And this month, it's going to be using your Nird Eye. That's right, I'm going to teach you how to use your Nird Eye, seeing potential in toys and whatnot from the dollar store and other various stores from around your very own town. And at the end, I'm going to show you how to do some conversions from dollar store toy, Walmart toy, etc. to valuable miniature for your ttrpg game. This month, of course, we're going to focus on sea creatures because stick with that summary theme. I did a Kraken last time, so let's do a couple sharks, dolphins, and some octopi. But first, let's show you my big ol' pile of junk. Let's go! Woo, man, look at my pile of junk here. Yeah, as you can tell, I kind of went shopping everywhere. I went to the dollar store, London Drugs, Value Village, you name it, I've been there. This guy I got from London Drugs, so he was on clearance for like 75 cents. This guy from Dollar Tree, $1.50. Weird little chariot, $1.50. Again, Dollar Tree. Got her for a thing. A thing. Got him from Walmart, about $2. $1.50, Dollarama. Got those, $1.50, Dollarama. Got these guys here from Dollar Tree as well, $1.50 a piece. Yard sailing, got this bunch of like little spiders and ants for, I don't know, I think it was like 50 cents from them. A little wyvern, your Canadian dollar store with more for those guys. Dinosaurs and dragons from Walmart. Just a whole bunch of crap. But wait, there's more. Got sharks and got more dinosaurs because there's never enough dinosaurs. But today we are focusing on the aquatic stuff. So now I'm going to filter through my giant pile of crap here and find anything that's aquatic, like Mr. Plesiosaur here. Got a Mosasaurus. I don't know if I'll get to that this episode, but put him in the pile just in case. Just gonna keep scanning through. Oh yeah, another little Plesiosaur. We'll use him. I think he's actually the D&D size. It's weird. Plesiosaurs are large creatures. I thought that they would be huge. Little alligator thing. And the nice thing about some of these kits is this, like these two guys here, I'm not even going to paint them. I'm just going to glue them to the base and call it a day. They have nice paint jobs as is. Well, of course, you got to watch out, especially when you're getting them from the dollar store. Sometimes they look a little funky, to say the least. Ah, look at him. He'd be an awesome zombie Tyrannosaurus or something like that. But anyways, let's get into it. So now we're going to dump out all of our little sea creatures that we've separated from the pile of dinosaurs and other likewise junk. Using our Nird Eye, we are going to keep size in mind. We don't want to use anything too big, otherwise it'll just look kind of stupid, to be honest. Like that shark there, these are huge. These are massive. Like absolutely Titanic sized sharks. Massive. So that guy's a megalodon. Like that's just way too big. So we'll just put him off to the side. I'm not doing all these miniatures today. I'm only going to do about 8, I think. Okay. So anyways. We got our Plesiosaurus. We got all these little rocks and little train pieces from that Walmart bucket too, which is super awesome. So you can really make a nice campaign setting using just that one bucket. And I got this at Walmart for about $15. It's a nice deal for a bucket of assorted sea life and whatnot. They also have buckets of dinosaurs. Here's a crab! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! there's a crab! But anyways, just so we can jump right into it, after I've sorted through all the miniatures here, we're going to end up doing 2 great white sharks. We're going to do 2 dolphins out of 1 dolphin toy, 2 plesiosauri, 2 plesiosauri, whatever. We're going to do 2 octopi, we're going to do a large and a small, and we're going to do an orca. So without further ado, let's get into the actual project. Woo! So we are going to start today's DIY adventure with the plesiosaurus. Alright, so we got our plesiosaurus taken out. This one here, we're going to cut him up because he's too big for the base, and I want him to be kind of coming out of the water. The miniature or the toy that I have there, it looks kind of dumb. It looks like it's beached and no one wants a beached plesiosaurus. And this guy, he's got nice paint, he's got a good amount of life to him, so we're just going to glue him onto the base, and we'll decorate the base in a little bit with some little sea life kind of stuff, like some seaweed, maybe that sea anemone. We'll just have to play it by ear and see what looks the best. So we're going to grab our sandpaper, and we are going to give his belly and his fins a good scuffing. Really scuff him up so that glue will hold him down to the base. Just in case if you're wondering where I got these bases from, I got the medium creature and the large creature size from Amazon, and the colossal size that you're looking at, or the huge size, is from my local library. I 3D printed it out of PLA, and like I've mentioned in a previous video, I'm not too fond of PLA plastics for miniatures just because they decay in about 60 years, and I would like to pass these on or sell them at some point in the future. So we're just going to sit there and we're going to dab on all of our glue, give him a good old-fashioned glue bath there, with him on screen actually. Still haven't bought that new Gorilla Glue, but that's okay, we're still working with it. We're going to press and hold him down for about 5 minutes, if I remember correctly what that good old bottle says there. We definitely want to make sure he's down. Okay, and it's been about 5 minutes here. And we are going to have to clamp the fins down with these little chip clip things. I don't know, I use a lot of weird junk to use as little vices and clamps when I'm doing miniatures, just because I don't want to damage them too much. So now the plesiosaurus's fins are going to be glued down in about another 5 minutes with those little chip clippies on there. I think those are actually coffee clips from little bags of Starbucks coffee, but that doesn't really matter. That's not really what this is all about. And the Gorilla Glue appears to melt the plastic, so one shot, one kill, that's all you can really do. Don't mess it up. So these are what I'm going to be using for the plesiosaur. I'm going to use this one specifically. These are fish tank ornaments, believe it or not. I got these on clearance at PetSmart. And now we're just going to scuff it up and glue it on beside the plesiosaur now that he's all dried and glued down. And of course, I'm almost going to forget to scuff it. A good scuff. Just in case if you're wondering, yes, I am recording my voiceover in post because I was so sick when I recorded this originally that I could barely talk. So this is what we get. This is what happens to me. This is what I deserve. That's what I get for eating a cookie that a toddler gave me. It's the flu. It's not a cookie, it's the flu. And now we're gonna work on the little plesiosaur now that the big guy's done. So we're gonna start by decapitating him. Chop his head right there. It's a little bit of tougher plastic than I was expecting, so let's take a little bit for me to get through it here. Put your back into it, DarknDorky, come on! Don't rip it, cut it! What's wrong with you? This is why you shouldn't do DIYs when you're sick. So disorganized.
Yeah, it's not going to look great like that. So with me off camera, I'm going to cut it on a 45-degree angle like I did with the tentacles in the Kraken video to give it a little bit more action. So in this moment here, I'm kind of on the fence about using just a regular medium-sized base for this, for the plesiosaur head, like as if it's coming out of the water, but I quickly decided against it, and I'm going to bring out a large creature base. We're going to glue the head up to as far to the front as we can. But first we are going to chop a little bit of the back off of the body there, just so it looks like he's kind of coming out of the water. And we're going to do the exact same thing with one of the sharks actually, so it looks like it's in pursuit. And as you can probably tell, even though this is sped up 300% of the speed here, yeah, some plastics and some rubbers for toys are really rigid and really robust, very hard to cut through. So when you're doing this, use so much common sense and be so careful when you do it. Otherwise, you might lose a digit or two. But anyways, I digress. So now we have that back piece fully removed there, so we can have that little effect of a plesiosaur kind of breaching the water, coming up for air, or about to strike something that's on land, or a little peninsula. And we're just gonna do a quick little mock-up here, see where exactly it'll look the best on this miniature stand there, and look at that. That looks like that should be good. Now we are going to glue it down. Scuff it up first. Look at me almost forget to do that again. And now it's time to, you guessed it, glue it on to the miniature base. So let's dab on our Gorilla Glue here. Dabby dabby dab, sticky sticky stick. Medicated DarknDorky, all chock full of Dayquil. Coming at you in the video there. Turtle speed movements. And that guy down. We're gonna hold that down for about 5 minutes there. Scuff up the bottom of the neck there. And just like the plesiosaur's rear, we are going to now glue down the head. And as you will see, it won't be for too long either. So I have a fatal mishap with one of my chip clips that I like to use to clamp flat miniatures down to bases. So I'm being all picky because I noticed that there's some little edges coming up there. Knowing that the head is not fully glued or set. Very exciting stuff here. Very exciting. Oh yeah, I need toothpick to clean my teeth. Just kidding. We're going to use the toothpick to apply some Gorilla Glue to the little flaps and stuff that are sticking up there. Just to make sure that they have some extra glue to hold. Just another little dab there. We're going to stick that under the front. And now it's medicated DarknDorky clamping time! You get to watch me, the master of crafts, one of the masters of crafts, redecapitate my plesiosaur here with the chip clip. I wonder why it won't go down, Dark. Is it because the plesiosaur is too thick? I mean thick with two C's. Oh, yep, there we go. Well, we are just going to leave that off until future time. So now we're just going to put that off to the side there and continue on with another project while we wait for that to dry. After I fart around with it for another 2 minutes here. Again, I digress. Alright, now that the rest of the body has finally dried out, we are going to reattach the head and make it look like it should. We're going to resand it because it has glue on it, which might have dried nice and smooth, and we don't want that. Put a little blip 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 of our glue, and we're going to smack that down and hold it down as best we can. I use the Gorilla Glue gel, so the more pressure that you put down on it, the better. As you can see, I'm pushing down so hard, my hands are kind of shaking. And voila! One completed, actual proper size plesiosaur as per D&D standards. Onto the turtle. The sea turtle. Which is super easy. We are just going to take the sea turtle. We're going to scuff up his belly with my handy dandy super used sandpaper. As you can tell, it is great condition. Fantastic condition. I should probably buy some more sandpaper. But either way, look at that. He's scuffed up enough. We're going to take our Gorilla Glue. We're gonna put a couple dabs on the belly there and on the fins just for good measure. It's much harder if your glue bottle is almost completely empty. So just keep that in mind. Maybe remind me when I'm streaming with Plains Raider on Twitch. Hey, Dark, buy some more frickin' Gorilla Glue? Huh? No, it's not your guys' fault. Well, it's not your guys' problem. It's my problem. I need to go to the store and buy some more Gorilla Glue. And we're gonna hold him down super, super tight. Around, like, this isn't 5 minutes, but just so tight that it's gonna hold. And we're gonna put him off to the side to dry. And he's done! Octopus time! We're doing 2 octopi. That's right, octopi is plural for more than one octopus or octopuses. So for the smaller of the 2 octopi, it's just going to be like the sea turtle. We are just going to sand up the bottom of that little octopus there. Give him a good scuffing, tentacles and all. And then we're just going to glue him right onto a large character base or a large miniature base. Them all nice and scuffed up. Now it's time to glue. As you can tell, I've been using that one miniature base to spank my glue on for most of the episode there. And you might also notice that all the clips are kind of mishmashed in different time frames. We're jumping around in time because as sick DarknDorky, as sick as I was totally aloof with how I set up the planning for this DIY. So just bear with me, please. Yep. Bear with me. So he was still a little too smooth after sanding, so you see me going along with my X-Acto blade and just scoring him up on the bottom, just to give something for that glue to get into. I'm actually cutting fairly deep with these too, because I'm out of it. Let's just put it that way. I'm completely out of it this time. Doing a little cross on the back of the head there. Good job, me. Look at me go. Using a blade all professionally like and stuff. I'm gonna add some more glue because I screwed the pooch the first time there. Make sure it gets into those cuts. A little extra for good measure. Put it up and down on the legs there. Try and hold the legs down. And press and hold onto the miniature base there. And a few seconds later, and we should be good to move it at the very least. There we go, there's one relatively glued on octopus. And that one's done. Now we're gonna move on to the big octopus. So the big octopus takes a little bit more planning because with this one, I kind of wanted just to put him on a base, and I was thinking of what kind of artsy fartsy stuff that I could do to make him look cool just as is, as the whole figure. But I decided, nah, I'm gonna treat him like I did the Kraken. I'm gonna cut the head off on a weird angle so it looks like he's coming out of the water, and have some wibbly wobbly tentacle bases. 3 to be exact. There's only 2 bases there, but I end up making 3 in the long run because there's enough tentacles to do it. And by the by, if you're sitting there thinking, Kraken video, DarknDorky, what do you mean? I will leave a link to my Kraken DIY down in the description below. Alright, so we are going to grab a large creature miniature base for Mr. Octopus here. And we are going to start planning and lining up our cut to remove just the very tippy top of the octopus from the rest of the legs there. Exact same way as I did the Kraken. And like I said before, we are going to do 3 tentacle bases. And again, for those of you who haven't seen my Kraken DIY, links in the description below. And here we go, we begin the cut. Again, I know I said it already before, but please be super careful when using your X-Acto blade. These plastics, sometimes they'll slip, sometimes you'll hit a bad edge and it'll kick your knife out. So just be extra careful. I want everybody who's watching this video and following along or doing these kind of weird little neato tricks that I've come across in my time of being a weird repurposing artist and D&D nerd to keep all your fingers and keep me free of lawsuits. Alright. Please don't sue me. Even if you do cut your fingers off, please don't sue me. I am so broke. Alright, and now the head is cut off. We have successfully decapitated a giant octopus. Congratulations, and you're welcome. Now we're just going to see how it fits on the large base, and we're also going to start cutting off all these tentacles here. For some reason, these tentacles are a little thicker than the plastic was for the rest of the head there. Super weird, but there we go. Now we're on a roll. Throw out that little extra plastic piece there, and now we have all these little tentacles. So start doing a mock-up, try and figure out how you want your tentacles to be placed on each of these little bases here. Believe it or not, the mock-up is very important, because that will tell you what it will look like once everything is glued down. gonna sand the bottom of the octopus, and we're gonna stick them down before I forget. Because the sick DarknDorky is a forgetful DarknDorky. If you haven't noticed from the rest of the video. Just seeing how he fits, if I need to cut off any of the little extra leg bits. And doesn't look like I'm going to have to. So for this guy here, I'm going to use another chip clip to help glue him down. Just use it as a little clamp, because he is so flat. So flat. The opposite of thick. Instead of thick with 2 C's, he's flat with 2 T's. Get that clip down so these tentacles don't start popping up. And then we're just going to pop them off to the side so we can finish drying and get on to the tentacles. Alright, so just like what we did with the Kraken again, we're going to start cutting some of these tentacles on a 45-degree angle right off the base, just to give them a little bit more movement, so they're not just sticking straight up like a bunch of toothpicks glued to a rock, essentially. We're just gonna kind of pan through all these tentacle options and try and find which ones will look the best with each other. If you notice, there's quite a few that have the quote-unquote tentacle knot. That's stereotypical to see in different medias at the very tip of the tentacle, and I just want to make sure that there isn't a base where all 3 of the tentacles or even 2 of the tentacles have that knot on top of it. So it's a little bit of visual filtering as well, just so it doesn't look silly. Gonna keep chopping and cutting these down on weird little angles, just give them a little bit more life and a little bit more action. And look at me start to glue it down without sanding it. DarknDorky, what you doing, dude? No! No! Stop it! Stop it! Yes! Good boy! Grab the sandpaper. Always sand. Always, always, always sand it before you glue it. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm off in like DarknDorky mental circus land while I'm doing this. Gotta love the NyQuil. Dayquil. Whatever quill. Quill. And you may notice, yeah, it falls over, but we are going to fix that by adding the rest of the tentacles to it, which will counterbalance it. And now we're moving on to the 3rd tentacle there. Look at me, I remembered to sand it. Good job. Good job. Atta boy. And as you can see, off camera, with your mind's eye, I dabbed it with more super glue. Push that down as far as I can, or as much as I can. Give it a good press. Just making sure that's actually fixed down. And voila! That's one finished tentacle mass, and I'm going to do the other 2 bases off camera because it's the exact same thing. Now we're moving on to the giant crab! Hell yeah, crab! Hell yeah, crab! Which the crab is super easy, just like the sea turtle and the little octopus. We're just gonna sand up his butt and glue it down to a medium-sized character base, because giant crabs are medium-sized creatures, which is still terrifyingly huge. Imagine walking down the beach and seeing a crab the size of a human. You would probably crap your pants. And if you live in the tropical zones where you see coconut crabs, you know that they are terrifying. They are huge, And on top of that, they are a big old armored gnome. Big crab full of fafo. Apparently one snip from them can take like your hand off or something like that. But it doesn't surprise me because their claws are friggin' massive. Absolutely colossal. But again, I digress. Watch me sand up the bum of this poor little crab. Sand the hell out of it. Just sand it. Sand that ass. And then we're gonna glue him down to the minimum. The medium-sized miniature base. And we're gonna hold him down and exert enough pressure that the Gorilla Glue is gonna want to Gorilla Glue. Which might take about 5 minutes, give or take. And there it is! Congratulations on your new giant crab! On to the next one. The Great White Shark. Alright, so for the sharks, like I said before, we are going to have one where it's just the head coming out of that water, doing a breach, that cinematic nom nom nom, I'm Jaws motion, and the other one, it's just going to be the fins sticking out where you can just see the top of his back as if he's in pursuit of something that's swimming along the top, like a surfboarder, or unfortunately a sea turtle. Poor Mr. Sea Turtle. So I'm using a plastic Rubbermaid lid that I pulled out of my big old bucket of junk plastics. I have a big bucket of junk plastics on hand because I do a lot of repurposed art. And we're going to take a large miniature base and we're going to trace it twice. We're going to trace once and we're going to kind of butt them up, measure along with the shark there. We're going to leave about an inch gap in between the two of them. Like that. And trace out the second circle and then grab a flat edge, which in my case, I'm not prepared and don't have my ruler and am also very lazy, but I happen to have this handy dandy flyer from one of those dinosaur buckets. One of those table of contents for what toys you have in your bucket. And we are going to use that as our little straight edge, so we're just going to connect those two. Swoop. And connect right on the very tip of each of the circles there. And do another cut. Swoop. Not a cut, another draw, another trace. Cutting, but with a sharp. And now we're going to actually cut the thing. The X-Acto, be super, super careful, especially if you happen to have a spare Rubbermaid lid as well, because they happen to be very thick. And very thick. Very hard to cut through. End up sawing my way through it for a good portion of it and just stabbing it, because I'm impatient. A sick DarknDorky is an impatient DarknDorky. Apparently. Finally free-ish. There. Now it's free. Let's spend some time just trimming it up so it doesn't look so much of a hack job. Notice my cut isn't perfect, but honestly, who is without a machine? Just kidding, I've seen people who do like phenomenal things by hand. But regardless, our new base for the long shark is done. We're gonna use the gritty side with the Rubbermaid on top because the smooth side won't retain the glue that well. Now you might be wondering, but Dark, the base is red. Well, everything that I am doing here, or most of the things that I'm doing here, I'm going to spray bomb with some primer so I can paint them later. So let's just plan out a cut. We're going to take that little tiny fin there, and we're going to take just the top of the tail fin. There we go. And now let's just start chopping her up. Remember, shark finning is bad. This is a toy. If you know anybody who is a shark finner, kick him in the nuts and run. Poor sharks. Alright, so now that all the parts that we need or want are detached there, we're going to start doing a mock-up on the little red piece that we cut out. Start figuring out where we're going to place everything. I think just like the plesiosaur, this is going to be nose right up to the very front of the base there. I kind of messed up and I made them a little too hefty. So we are going to start trimming off some extra fat from the sides there. Kind of narrow them out a little bit more. And a few things that I've learned just over the years of being a mixed media artist and just a all-in-all junk collector is that you don't always get things right the first shot, which is okay. Because if we did, then it wouldn't be so exciting going through the whole process and we wouldn't learn anything. And there we go. It looks like that I've trimmed him down just enough. So I think at this point it's safe to say that we are going to start to sand it and glue it down. After I quickly cut some extra parts out to shove in my kit bashing box. Like I said, I am a very proficient junk collector. So yeah, like I said, shark finning's bad. Don't judge me. Take the fins. Never know if I'm going to do a little kit bash Triton character or some sort of weird, crazy fish mutant. And back to brass tacks here. Go, and we're going to just keep sanding it. Sand it up nice. Get it all good and soft and gritty on the bottom there. That with all the little pieces. First, let's glue down the main body just so we can see where we should put the tail fin and that little extra fin that's in front of the tail fin. So it looks good. And there we go. Now we're just gonna hold that down for a little bit. I'm not going to say 5 minutes because I've eaten my words several times already, but we're just going to hold it down until it wants to stay put. And of course we are going to chip clip it down. We want it to stay there. And look at that, there's the plesiosaur without the head. A little blast from the past there, isn't it? That was a whole 20 minutes ago. If you made it this far through the video, thank you for being so supportive and being curious enough to check out what kind of garbage I'm messing around with. And there we go. We got the chip clip this on the front. Keep the nose down. And we're going to put the chip clip on the back as well. So like that. And we're going to put it off to the side to dry. Now we have the shark that's breaching old Jaws style, and this one is pretty easy. We are just going to chop his head right off on a nice straight angle. We want to make it so he is coming forward a little bit, so we're not just going to cut it directly 90 degrees. We're going to cut it more on a 45? Whatever kind of degree that is, we're going to cut his head off where it gets close to the dorsal fin. And ta-da! We have a shark head. We're gonna sit there. We're gonna sand the bottom of that head. Look at me. I'm starting to remember to sand everything. Sand everything before you glue it. Don't be a me. Please don't be a me. And we're just going to glue them down to the base right there. Dap, dap, dap. Dap, 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 dap. Some more with the glue. And press. He's glued down nice and firm. And there we go. We have a shark head coming out of the water. He's coming to get you. You are gonna need a bigger boat. Let's check the shark that we put off to dry before. Look at that. And just keep in mind, these two shark guys, they are definitely getting primed and sprayed. So don't you worry, you're not going to see red forever, just for now. Dump the sand, and we're going to put the tail fin on a little bit of an angle so it looks like he's mid-swim. Get some movement going with the tail so it's not so straight as a board, because that doesn't really look too good. It's all about the illusion of movement. It adds interest to your miniatures. You may not think, well, I'm running a D&D campaign. It should be interesting enough as is. Well, you know, I hate to break it to you, but some of you DMs, you're boring. You're boring. And your miniatures are boring. So you want to, yeah, you want to add some movement. Adds layers. And what I'm doing here is being super picky because I am still not happy with the way that the top of the shark looks, so I'm just trimming it down a little bit more so it looks less rigid, looks less fat, so it doesn't look like a shark got hit with a fly swatter and then was catch and release back into the ocean there. voila! He is finito! Gonna do my little super glue trick with the toothpick and get under any ridges that may have lifted up during the little trim process that I was going through there. And he is done, and on to the next one, which will be the orca. Because if I didn't include an orca or a killer whale, I know for sure that my citizenship to British Columbia would be revoked. So for this one, I'm going to leave the model in its full glory. It's a killer whale. Like, look at how majestic and beefcake that guy is there. So I'm going to grab a large miniature base, which technically they're actually a huge creature, and that would definitely fit on the huge creature base, but I'm getting crazy with it because I'm also out of huge creature bases. Oh, and would you look at that, I still have some parts left over from my previous Aarakocra video, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, I will leave the link to that video in the description below. Just like the Kraken. So I'm going to take those little clear flight bases, quote unquote. I'm going to merge them together, and I'm going to mock out a good spot on the killer whale here to start drilling a hole into it so it will balance upright and look like it's kind of swimming upright. I don't want to stick it on just flat with no action to it, because it'll just look like some weird fishing trophy or weird fishing knickknack from a farmer's market. So we're going to sand up the base from one of them Aarakocra, from the attack wing set, if I'm remembering that correctly this time. And we're going to glue that down to the dead center of the large creature base. Look at me fight with my Gorilla Glue like a total idiot. Ha, moron. Buy some more glue. And there we go. Stick it down nice and firm in the center. And continue planning. So like I said, I'm gonna have this orca look like it's swimming upwards, so it's gonna breach and get some air. I found the angle and I found the spot on the body that I want to start milling into it, so we're gonna start doing just that. Take the X-Acto, start twisting it. I would use a drill on this, but I just wasn't fully confident that I would be able to maintain the angle that I wanted to keep while using a drill, so here we are. Me milling away very slowly and painstakingly with my X-Acto blade. Then once it's done, do not forget to sand both parts. And by both parts, I mean, of course, the stick and the inside of the hole that we put in the orca there. I unfortunately did all the sanding of the inside of the orca off camera. Well, it wasn't really sanding, I just scored the hell out of it with the X-Acto blade there, but same difference. And now we're gonna go ahead and start slopping on our glue there. This one's gonna be hard because it's a hollow toy, so you're not gonna be able to press it and hold it. You're going to have to actually pinch it on a weirder angle while the glue's in to hold it down. So you're gonna see I'm going to put my orca off to the side. I'm gonna weigh it down with my Sharpie there. And that's that. On to the next one. The dolphins. Me. Yeah, that's right. That's my dolphin sound effects. Deal with it. They're majestic. That's like the best dolphin impersonation anybody has ever done without laughing like a drunk white girl. So for the dolphin, we are going to actually get 2 minifigures out of this one dolphin here. And it's all about planning your cutout. So if you see, I am cutting the tail on a very sharp angle here. Just kidding, it's not that sharp. I think it's about 45. That's like my buzzword for cutting. 45-degree angle. And now we have the top of dolphin coming out of the water, of course doing a breach or a nice little jump or flip. Don't forget to sand it. Oh, hell yeah, it's my crab again. Hello, Mr. Crab. Hello, what you doing? I love crabs. To be honest, I absolutely love crabs, even the crazy coconut crabs. And then we're gonna dab the glue and we're gonna glue it on. Don't I sound redundant? Hold it down for time, X amount of time. And look at that, the dolphin is glued. Fantastic. Off to the side. Now it's time to do the tail. We're gonna take another medium creature base. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I am positive I've seen a miniature where it's just the tail of a dolphin or a whale sticking out of the water. So I'm going to do that. So we sanded them up. And we're going to put a little blop on the bottom there. And what was I pointing at? Because in the first iteration of the video, where I have barely any voice and it's super incoherent, where did I get these miniature bases? I got them off Amazon. For the medium-sized miniature bases, I got them in a bag of 100 for around 20 bucks. And I'm going to leave the link to that in the description below. But there's our full tail. And now we're on to priming. Oh crap, no, never mind, I forgot something. No, we're not priming yet. Well, maybe we'll just prime some of the stuff. Ah, crap. So, Dark, what do you mean by we're not ready to prime yet? Well, that's because I want to show you how to do some water effects on the miniatures with some hot glue. It's super easy. You just get your hot glue gun, nice and hot, and you just start running beads around it. I'm not going to spend too much time explaining this process because that's like another full hour worth of video, and I've already held you guys here for the majority of an hour by this point. So I just want to get to it and show you what's up. So what you're going to do is, with those little beads that you put around, you're going to let them get the majority of the way dry, and you want to hang them upside down while they cool so they start to drip. And then while it's still a little tacky, you're going to go through with a toothpick and you're going to start flicking up some of the still wet and hot glue to kind of make a splashing effect, especially for the creatures that are breaching the water, like the shark, the dolphin tail, and the plesiosaur, or the small plesiosaur. I just turned my air conditioner on, that's where I went for that quick second, just to help cool down the glue even faster than my mouth can do. Because I'm pretty impatient, if you haven't noticed. You see it getting that little drip action. And of course I'm doing this off camera because I'm an idiot. And you're just gonna sit there and you're gonna pull the glue up. Make it look like a big splash. And don't forget to pull away all the spider webs because you don't want those sticking through on the next prime there. And we're gonna do a little epic time lapse here. Take some scissors, sharp edge, your X-Acto, and snip off any unwanted excess of glue. And here we are, the finished shark head. Now let's move on to fixing up our little plesiosaur here. So for this one, it's not an aggressive bursting out of the water like whoosh. So he's kind of just swimming with his head above the water. So we are just going to put little wakes around him just by putting little beads of hot glue all the way through. No need to do splashes, just make sure to repeat the design all the way through. As it works, the ones closest to the creature will be the largest waves, and as they fan out, they'll get smaller and smaller, just like water ripples. That's half of it right there. And I'm going to continue to do the other half, halfway off camera, as per tradition. And with all that in mind and all those little water tricks and techniques there, let's get back to priming and show you what we've made today. Alright, now that all that priming's done here, let's see how many miniatures we've made. We've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you include all the tentacles there, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've made 14 different miniatures today in about an hour's worth of DIY. And on that note, on to the glamour shots! And as always, I just want to thank all of you for sticking through this DIY with DarknDorky with me, yours truly, DarknDorky. If you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications when we come out with new content, and don't forget to check us out on Twitch. We stream every Saturday at 8 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. MST, Mountain Standard Time. That's where Plains Raider lives, because time just works different in Alberta. I still don't understand why. And why not check us out on every other Thursday? We have YouTube exclusive Fallout 4 content that we release on YouTube. Obviously, only on YouTube. It's Plains and I playing Fallout 4 until we finish the game, and then we're going to switch it up to a new and different game. Oh yeah. And Games in Real Life also comes in Instagram and Twitter flavors. Don't forget to check those out. Our Twitter has barely been used, but hey, more views and we might start using it just a little bit more than we have been already. And don't forget to join our Discord server, also in the description. Actually, all of which are in the description. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. That's all, folks!